There was some speculation that Trump may have thrown shade at Harry and Meghan. I'm going to leave it up to you to decide. I will read out the quote in full and you tell me what you think, because a lot of people online think he was throwing shade. I'm not sure yet. He said, "Being with Charles, Camilla and everybody, I've got to know, because of 4 years as president and now 6 months, I've got to know a lot of the family members. They are great people. They are really great people." And here's the main bit that we're picking up on. "And in that sense, I think the UK is very lucky. You could have people that weren't great people. I don't know if I can say that, but you could have people that weren't." End quote. What do you think? Shade or no shade, Samara?
Total shade. I mean, I think it's no secret that he hates Harry and Meghan. I mean, he's gone on record saying, you know, Harry's a whipped man by Meghan. He should get out of that marriage. I think he is an Anglophile to a T, and he loves sort of being on the side of the royal family, or how he sees it. I think he sees the feud as very cut and dry, and I think he'll say anything that will kind of more appease the King and William's side, and I think that's mega shade.
Okay, and what do you think, Jack?
It would be in character for that to be shade, and it is the kind of way that Trump words these things and phrases them. So I could see it being shade, but I think it is also significant that he kind of stopped himself. You know, that he went halfway down that road and didn't continue all the way, because he has thrown like very explicit shade at Meghan in the past. He said, "I'm not a fan of hers. Harry's whipped.
Terrible.
Good luck, Harry, because you're going to need it."
Yeah.
all of these kind of things. So the fact he stopped himself, I think, is indicative of this new kind of phase that the Sussexes and Trump are in, where they didn't campaign against him in the recent election, and he's seen that and decided to pull his tanks off their lawn. And so I think it's kind of indicative of that new phase and the kind of, it's a Cold War rather than a hot war nowadays.
So two very, very high-profile figures have been in Scotland this week. King Charles was in the Scottish Highlands recently in honour of the 70th anniversary of the area's 2 major nuclear sites. But also, of course, the US president was there, but the two didn't meet up. So we've got the state visit in September. Was there any initial thought that they might meet? Of course, Keir Starmer met up with Mr Trump while he was there, but was there any conversations early doors that maybe the King would see him then, or would there have been any benefit in that informal meeting before the state visit?
There was something in the letter that Starmer gave Trump. So there was this big theatrical moment in the Oval Office when Starmer went out there to Washington and he presented this letter to Trump, and Trump like held it up to the cameras, which gave us a chance to see it. And really amusingly, Charles was inviting Trump to Dumfries House, which is his pet project in Scotland, that Charles just loves Dumfries House. So obviously it was going to be Dumfries House and Balmoral. So that it was bandied about, but then I think they, you know, we're told it was purely logistical, and that, you know, it's because of diary clashes. I can't help but wonder whether maybe, you know, there might have been some discussions and one side or the other or both didn't quite like the shape of how things were going. But also, I think Charles and his team will have been watching some of Trump's comments at the press conference with Keir Starmer with their jaws on the floor, because Starmer was completely monstered by Donald Trump. And it was absolutely toe-curling watching the president bring up all these things that Starmer just absolutely didn't want to talk about, from, you know, Trump trashing Sadiq Khan. Starmer said, "He's my friend," and Trump just continued anyway. it was classic Trump.
There's a lot in it. Yeah.
There's so much in it. And Trump is basically inviting Starmer to decide to be weak or to be strong. And, you know, if you're going to choose to be strong, then you have to go toe-to-toe with Trump. And you might not have the guts to see that through. But if you decide to be weak, then you've rolled over and Trump kind of owns you. And it's absolutely classic Trump theatre. Charles will be spared most of that, because there's no way in a million years he's going to do a sit-down press conference alongside Trump answering questions.
Imagine.
Donald Trump has never hidden his disdain for Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, but his latest remarks? They weren't just personal, they were political. Tonight, we unpack the motives behind Trump's royal attack, and why it might be part of something much bigger. Speaking in his signature no-filter fashion, Trump delivered what many are calling a verbal grenade. He accused Meghan of disrespecting the Queen and Harry of being a disgrace to his family. The clip went viral instantly, millions of views, thousands of reactions, and a storm of headlines. But behind the barbed comments was strategy, not just shade. This wasn't Trump's first royal jab. His long bristled at Meghan's criticism of his leadership, calling her nasty back in 2019. Since then, the relationship has been frosty, a feud that blends celebrity pride with political opportunism. For Trump, every confrontation is an opportunity, and the Sussexes, with their global fame, make perfect rhetorical targets. Analysts say Trump's latest attack was less about Meghan and Harry and more about his 2024 image. By taking a hard line against the couple, Trump taps into traditionalist, pro-monarchy, and conservative audiences who view the Sussexes as symbols of modern arrogance. It's classic Trump theater: stir outrage, dominate headlines, and win hearts of those who value loyalty to the crown and tradition. Buckingham Palace remained silent, as it always does, but insiders say the timing was awkward, coming just as the royal family tries to project unity after months of health rumors and public scrutiny. For Harry and Meghan, it's yet another PR nightmare, one that reignites public criticism and questions about their standing on both sides of the Atlantic. Online, reaction was split. Supporters of Trump praised him for saying what everyone's thinking, while royal fans accused him of political opportunism. Meanwhile, American commentators called it a power play wrapped in personal vendetta. Whatever the motive, Trump succeeded again. His comments became global news. Donald Trump may claim to hate Meghan and Harry, but his real target may be far greater. In the theater of politics and power, the Sussexes are simply characters in his next campaign drama. This is royal Saga, where politics, power, and the crown collide.
But he will need to be very careful what he says to the president during the state visit in September, and particularly, no chat about Harry and Meghan straight off the bat.
And as you say, he will have to be careful because even after, that just reminded me last year when Prince William met up with Mr. Trump in Paris, and he actually spoke later about their conversation. There was nothing, too deep in it, but it's more just that reminder that he'll probably repeat it.
Absolutely.
He may well pass that on. So speaking of that state visit, given current global tensions, how much pressure will there be on the King? Because it's coming up relatively soon. When it comes to UK-US relations, what pressure is he looking at and what will his major focus be for those 2 days?
I think his major focus will be sort of getting diplomatic tensions at bay. I think Keir Starmer's relationship with Trump is very different to what the King feels or what Trump feels for the King. I mean, he has got so much reverence for the royal family. That is someone he actually really respects. One of the few people, I think, that Trump would not try any of that stuff on with. So I think when you think about how even that state visit letter was delivered in the White House, that was one of the first things that Keir Starmer did, was give Trump that letter, because at that time the relations were really bad between the UK and the US. There was a lot of fighting going on, and so I think that this will just be about showing Trump, the greatest of Britain, what Britain has to offer, and also the royal family, which he loves so much. I'm sure there'll be some other tour of Buckingham Palace. I know he got one from the Queen last time.
And of course, all the pomp and ceremony that we love to see. And the fact it's at Windsor Castle as well actually is quite special. It's a beautiful backdrop for it all. Something else, you've mentioned the press conference. There was a lot in it. But one thing in there that I picked up was a reporter asked the president about King Charles's environmentalism. Now, of course, Trump and the King have very different positions on the environment. But he was glowing about the King's stance. That is the word for it. He was glowing. He actually was gushing over his passion for the environment, which I found very interesting, given their different stances. Are we seeing some of the King's soft power at work in that?
So one key thing is Trump, his policies are not pro-environment. He's pulling America out of the climate accords. He said, drill, baby, drill. He is perfectly happy to, he clearly doesn't want to pile in on Charles in the way that he might pile in on, Justin Trudeau or somebody. And so in that respect, yes, the soft power is actually, Trump is the perfect target for the royal family's soft power. There is not another person on planet Earth who it's more effective on than Donald Trump, because he absolutely he's a massive ego, and he loves it. He loves all the pomp and ceremony. But one thing about Trump is that he will not change his policies for anybody if that's what he thinks the right thing is. And so, yes, it shows that Charles is very effective at warming Trump up, which is what his role is. But if, from Charles's point of view, he will still have grave concerns about the direction that Trump has taken America's environmental policy in.
We actually will finish on our quickfire questions, so strap in, and whatever answer comes to you first is absolutely fine. So we'll begin with, and whoever wants to go first can jump in. Which royal would you most like to watch the footy with?
Australian football or UK
No, Samara, we're in enemy camps here. It's football, it's soccer in Australia, obviously.
I gotta go with William. He gets into it. Like, you can see each kid, everyone's fist pumping, everyone's like, really in with it. So yeah, he doesn't hold back. I like someone who wants to chuck their beer on the person.
Yeah, sure. Passionate.
Yeah, passionate.
I would also say William for a slightly different reason, which is that he did actually go to the pub to watch football with the editor of the Sunday Times years ago, Martin Ivins, and Martin Ivins walked out with a front page splash. So I would be hoping to come out of that experience with a little something in my back pocket.
That's perfect. I like that you're still thinking about work. You're going to the footy, but you're also doing the job. You're very good. So if Harry and Meghan signed to another streaming service, if they part ways with Netflix, of course, which show would you want to see from them?
I want to see, so it's RIP Ozzy Osbourne, but I want sort of an Osbourne-style reality show. I want that. I need Meghan in the bed. Yeah, exactly. I need Meghan in the bed doing orders like Sharon did. I need one of the kids screaming. I want the full drama. That's what people want to see. Come on, Meghan.
The Osbournes was spectacular television. That was my era as well.
I want Henry to go on like a journey of discovery where he goes and talks to like the Trump base and all these MAGA people and explores working class America and like goes to all of these Rust Belt states, but like not to fight people or argue with them, but to actually learn and understand, kind of like a Louis Theroux type thing where he's like soft Harry, because in person, like he's really charming with people and people love him in person. So if he could go in with the right attitude to learn, like, how did America vote for Trump again? Like, where is the Trump base coming from? What's really going on in working class America? The prince leaves his ivory tower basically and finds out what the real world is doing.
I love both of these, and also we do know. Look, they might be looking to pitch some projects in the coming months, as we've talked about. So
Netflix gets the first look in, apparently.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you what, 50 quid to whoever gets made first.
I hope they both get made.
My bets are on you.
I would pay you each £50. I'd be so excited if they came to fruition. Lastly, there has been some news this week that a Brazilian psychic who has apparently been accurate a number of times in the past has predicted Harry and Meghan will split. Do you think Harry and Meghan will go the distance?
Did she put a timeline on this? Because I've been putting timelines out about
I don't think so, but you feel free to add one if you like.
It doesn't take a psychic to see that marriage is built on just smoke and mirrors and lies for both of them, in my opinion. So I just think that it's very quickly all falling apart. And I think the Brazilian psychic is onto something. She predicted a couple of other things, didn't she? Like COVID? Is that that's what you were telling me.
Saying
What's your timeline?
My timeline is 5 years. I've been saying that now for 5 years. So joking, it is 5 years.
I don't think they're going to split. I think they're going to go the distance. Oof. And I think they had a wobble, but I think it's like they must both recognise that both of them have had moments where they nearly sank the ship. Like, Meghan had her ridiculous mock curtsy, on the Netflix show. Harry really should never have discussed his frostbite. Both
think about that. It stays with you.
Both of them have had moments where they nearly sank the ship. Yeah, no, totally. But this is it. They've been through so much together, and honestly, it would destroy both of them reputationally if they split as well. Like, I think Harry would probably carry public opinion. I think it would be absolutely brutalising for Meghan. She'd get blamed for all kinds of things, including the fact that, she would be blamed for creating a rift between Harry and his family. So I think that's a huge reason to stay together. But also I think that actually, ultimately they are better together, and all couples have wobbles and have difficult periods. I think if anything, part of the reason everybody gossips about Harry and Meghan divorcing so much is because they can't talk about the difficult stuff. But actually, if you do go through Harry's book, he does in there. He talks about some of the difficult moments they've had together a little bit. They obviously exist. I think if Harry and Meghan were a little bit more honest about it, took a leaf out of the Beckhams book and did, go through a little bit more of their own dirty laundry instead of always the royal families, then people would maybe believe that their relationship was more sincere. But I think privately, they do actually get on with each other.